I'm thrilled to be on the Mobil Vet Unit with Joe May and Mark Burrier, and they're here on behalf of our veterans. Now, the Mobil Vet Unit, of course, travels throughout Pennsylvania, and I'm very fortunate that you do come to the Tunkhannock office here in Tunkhannock, and you go to the Dallas office. That's in conjunction with Senator Lisa Baker, and that is in the Dallas Shopping Center. And I know that we moved one of the Tunkhannock spots to, is it Susquehanna County or Upper Tunkhannock?
No, Susquehanna County, Montrose.
It's in Montrose
Yes.
now, and that's wonderful. And I mentioned those three specific spots because they're within the areas of State Representative Sandra Mater and myself, and we can't thank you enough. I wondered if you could share some of the problems or some of the issues that our veterans come to the Mobil Vet Unit with.
Most of the people that we meet are actually new to the VA system. They've been in the military many years ago, and they finally just figured they would check the VA out, see what it had to offer. And myself and Mark go out to, I believe, 8 or 9 different places on a monthly basis. Like Representative Boback was saying, we visit them on a monthly basis, and our specific mission is to offer counseling to combat veterans, but because we have this basically a rolling billboard, we represent the VA and we bring out all the forms, and we basically help veterans get the right information and point them in the right direction is the least we can do. Most of the time we help the veterans fill the forms out, or we give them contacts, or we even sometimes even do it right over the phone. We can do enrollment over the phone with some veterans, depending how much paperwork they bring with them. A lot of times if it's just a drive-by, they want to just stop in and ask some questions, but if it's in the paper and people know we're going to be there, a lot of times people come prepared with the information they need to have in order to get the right VA forms.
And it's like a one-stop shop.
We try to make it that, yes.
Which is wonderful. And I know I have constituents from Windham, Forkston, the upper end of Wyoming County, as does Senator Baker and Representative Major. So when you locate here in Tunkhannock, it's just so much easier than if they have to drive to Wilkes-Barre. Now, the lower end of the county that I represent, they tell me it's easy for them to go to the VA, and that's wonderful. But yet the back mountain where you're at, in the Dallas Shopping Center, you get quite a few people come there.
Yes, we do.
Because it's convenient.
Yes.
And particularly for those who have perhaps a handicapped situation, or it's just they can't sit in a car to get to the VA per se. So you're much more convenient and you're much more accessible in those locales. I do have to commend the media too. Every time you're there, the media has been kind enough to advertise our local newspapers that where you'll be and at what times you'll be there. And I want to thank them for that.
Yes.
But mostly thank you for what you do for our veterans. Now, I was looking at some different brochures as I was coming in, and I noticed that the federal government now has what's called a Veterans Crisis Line, a 1-800 confidential line for our veterans. Can you explain that a little bit for us?
The Veterans Crisis Line is a new take on an older initiative. It's basically to help veterans in crisis. It's 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. It's basically just to help veterans in a crisis. They call the 800 number, they can speak to somebody on the spot, and the person who they talk to on the other end of the line is most likely a counselor or a qualified individual who can either talk the veteran down or talk the veteran through a difficult situation. They've been, very successful recently. It's been a really big project of the VA to help veterans and to prevent suicide amongst veterans. So the Veterans Crisis Line has been a pretty successful program so far. We give out information on that a lot of times. A lot of times we just leave the information out for people to pick up on their own. People don't necessarily come up and ask for this kind of information, but it's definitely one of the things that we put out that we notice seems to go when people go by.
It's something that people just don't understand. They see it on the outside, which looks like a big bus or, big trailer. Yes, and yet they come in, if you come in and you see all of the equipment, so that you have so much information that they need at your fingertips. And if you don't have it, of course, you know right where to get it.
Right. We try and be, like Representative Boback was saying, we try and be a one-stop shop. We accept all veterans. Like I said, our primary mission is to work with combat veterans, but we never turn a veteran away, and we always try and give them the right answer or the right information or a referral to the information they're looking for. And we also can be used, I'm sure you know of this, but we're actually allowed to use this as a mobile counseling center and an outreach center, but we can also be used in a disaster. We're actually capable of being a mobile command center in a disaster relief situation, which is why if the camera crew does a tour later, we have litter set up in the back. A lot of times people come in and think we actually work on people or we're a clinic, but it's set up as a static display. We didn't put everything on it, but we can actually be used in an emergency situation where Mark and I would actually be deployed, and this vehicle is capable of full internet, full satellite capabilities, communications. So we're lucky enough to be able to use it for our purposes in the meantime.
That's wonderful. When I asked about specifically giving me an example of what some veterans would come for, I remember one situation that I refer them to you about. I had a World War II veteran who was from the upper end of the district, and he was concerned about his wife should he pass before her, and what kind of benefits his spouse would have. And when I told him you were coming, right outside my office in the parking lot, he scheduled a time, and I know that when he left you, he was much more at ease as far as what would happen, again, should he pass before her. And it could be something like that, or as you said, it could be crisis intervention, it could be partial counseling, where to go for your next move for our veterans. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct. We get a pretty much like a run-of-the-mill, anything from I want a veteran ID card all the way up to they want to apply for full benefits, GI Bill information, pretty much anything in the federal benefits handbook. We have an idea of how to apply for it, how to get it, or who to contact.
And that's another great reason to stop, just to pick up a booklet. Now I know they can get one through the mail and they could request one, but you have everything that they may need right at their fingertips. I also remember a woman who lost her husband. He was a World War II veteran, maybe Korean veteran, and she didn't know where to go. I mean, he had papers ready for her, but she couldn't understand. She didn't know who she needed to go to for anything she might qualify for, and I sent her to you when you were in the Dallas location. So once again, I'm singing your praises because you do such good things for our veterans, and I'm so grateful that we were able to team up and that you are taking care of the people that I represent. Thank you very much. And I will mention, I know you're coming November 3rd to my Veterans Expo, and that would be at Misericordia University, and you're always there for me too, and I know you get a lot of business at that site. So thank you again, and it's a pleasure to work with you.